Hello punters, welcome to the final preview of the day. This is the Doomben Cup meeting. Fantastic meeting up there. There was a lot of good races to be run there. Got also the Group 3 Ascot BRC Sprint. So, and the Magic Millions of Roses is the final meeting. The cards are really going to build up to it nicely. Soft 5 at the moment up there, so looking a bit of a wet track, but not too much to worry about up there in Doomben. So, I open up the form guides, race number 1, 1600 metre benchmark 75 race. Look at the speed map. I think Carackabill will go forward. Bellius, Fabelon, and Den says off the inside barriers 5, 6, and 7 will go forward. I think red colour from outside will be quite prominent as well. So interestingly, bit of speed in the race, and as such, I do like the chance of number 11 Sacred Day, New Zealand visitor. Thought this horse's New Zealand form was quite good over there. Look, Tony Pike's flying at the moment. He's had a lot of winners here in Queensland, bringing his horses across. So I think he's got this horse well set here, and it's going to run a good race with Leith Innes on board. So I think got it on top. I think it's a good chance to win. In for second, I do like off the on-speed runners number 8 Carackabill for Tony Golan. I think this has got a good chance. I think it can improve on its runs thus far. Look, this horse hasn't jumped on speed all of this prep. Look, the speed match suggested it might, which it has done once before. I mean, it did go forward and was behind Plucky Girl at Gold Coast last time out. So it'll be interesting to see if it jumps, do they go forward for that barrier too? I suggest with not much speed around them, I don't see why you wouldn't. So I do like its chances in for second. In for third, I like number 9, Our Mantra. I think that was a good run last time out behind Angel Dane at Eagle Farm in the benchmark 78 there. So I like his chances in for third. And in for fourth, I do like number 13, Red Colour. If Tilly just get it across from the wide barrier, I thought that was a good run behind the Candyman last time out. So I like his chances. The track stats aren't great, but I think it can be in the finish in for fourth if we can get a posse in a nice spot. So recap the numbers of the first on the card. I do like number 11 Sacred Day on top. In for second, I like number 8 Carackabill at some nice odds. In for third, number 9 Our Mantra. And in for fourth, number 13 Red Colour. Race number 2 on the card, 2000 metre, benchmark 75. Looking at the speed map, I think Guise will go forward fighting Taylor, will be quite prominent. It Ain't All Honey will probably be forward as well. So not a whole lot of speed in the race. So I think this will set up perfectly for number 16 Guise with Kieran McAvoy in the stable for Chris Waller, shooting for a fourth in a row. Really won well at the Sunshine Coast, being Serene Matai by 2.8 lengths. It was a sensational run. Prior to that, won well at Gold Coast as odds on favourite, so it hasn't done much wrong as to date. I think this race will run to suit once again, and I think it'll be winning this race. In for second, I do like number 4 Tenero with James McAvoy in the saddle. Really good soft track stats. At 7 starts for 3 wins in a placing. Last time out, it was beaten 8 lengths by the Candyman at a real heavy track. Prior to that, on a good track, was beaten by Lejuge, who has come out and franked the form since. So that was at a run at Eagle Farm. So do like that form behind the Candyman Lejuge. So I think it just needs to be close enough. If it gets too far back off the slow speed, it might struggle to make the ground. But I think it's got a good chance in for second. In for third, I do like this New Zealand visitor in Zaza Gabor for Michael Moroney. I think it's got a good chance. I thought its New Zealand form was quite good, had a couple of good runs over there. So like his chances being the finish. Doesn't mind the wet track. And as in a lot of New Zealanders do, they often perform well in it. So like it in for third. In for fourth, number 18, Duchess of Lennox. Be interested in this runner and see where it lands. Thought its run from the back behind Nobu was a really good run. Just won't want to get as far back, and that's my one concern if it is too far back. But I do like its chances in for fourth. So just to recap the numbers on the second at the card at Doomben. Race number 16 Guise on top. In for second, I do like number 4 Tenero. In for third, number 13 Zaza Gabor. And in for fourth, number 18 Duchess of Lennox. Race number 3, 1200 metre, 2-year-old fillies race, the Bill Carter Stakes. Look at the speed, absolute stack of speed in this race. Quite a lot of them from the outside. I think the two of the fancy runners in California, Symbol and Gem of Scotland will be forward. But there'll be a lot on the inside that'll kick up as well. I think all 5 of the inside runners will be kicking up. There'll be a couple out of the middles as well. So a stack of speed. And a lot of the good chances in the market are the ones that are going to have to do a bit of work to get across. Like we're looking at Gem of Scotland and California Symbol. So I'll be interested. Look, it is tough to take them because they've got to do all that work from the outside. They've got to have a lot go right for them. So as such, I've got number 6 Perudo on top of Tony Gallen. Of the inside runners that are going to be on speed, I think it's going to get a good chance to win. I thought its run first up last time out, but won really impressively by 4 lengths. It was $1.30, but it was a really nice win at Toowoomba. And then it came out, finished by Needor, but Doomben, and then behind the Odyssey at the Gold Coast. So I think it's right to go, and it'll show a lot of zip and it'll be tough to beat. In for second, I do like number 9 California Symbol. Look, if we can get across and J Mac get it in the spot, I think it'll win. It was a really good win at Canterbury beating Matty Rock, so I really was impressed that turn of foot. So I like it in for second. In for third, I like number 2 Gem of Scotland, who of course is running for 4 in a row, has run so well so far. Is enjoying all conditions really. It's won 4 from 4, so be interested to see if it can make it 5 from 5. But I just think from that outside barrier, it's got to do a lot of work to get across, and it might get stuck similar to California Symbol. So that's why I'm not willing to tip it on top. In for fourth, I do like number 3 Batema for Toby Edmonds. I think Blake Shin will ride this one pretty nicely from barrier 4. Will be probably in and around the speed, or it will get a bit of cover, you'd say, if it decides not go right to the front. And I think it'll get a good run in the race. It's trialled quite nicely coming in, had a nice trial at Gold Coast, won by 3.5 lengths, being above the sky. This is a horse that ran the Magic Millions, finished 3.6 lengths off Exhilarates to start prior to the Magic Millions. So was in some good 2-year-old racing and really didn't run too many bad races. So I expect it to be in the finish once again. So just to recap the numbers on the third of the card, the 2-year-old race. Number 6 Perudo on top. In for second, I like number 9 California Symbol. In for third, numbers 2 Gem of Scotland, who's of course shooting for 5 wins out of 5. In for fourth, number 3 Batema. Race number 4, 1200 metre, 3-year-old race. Looking at the speed map here, it's going to be quite a lot of speed. And look, I'm interested because Zoo Style, they scratched for this meeting from last week. I think that was an interesting move. And look, I think it'd be interesting because there looks to be a lot of speed in the race. And I think as such, I'm willing to take number 3 Plague Stone for James Cummings. He gets a race in 2. And I think Plague Stone will come off the speed and should be able to finish home nicely. Look at that win beating Vega 1 last time out was sensational. It was a really good win. Vega 1 has since franked the form and come out 1 again. So I do like the form out of it. I think this Lonhro Gelding has come back sensationally for James Cummings, and it's going to win this race with a hot speed on. In for second is number 1 Zeus. Done nothing wrong today. 5 from 5 last preparation. It's going to be on speed, but it's going to come under a lot of pressure. So that's why I'm happy to take Plague Stone at 2:30 for me. In for third, I do like number 4 Ronstar. I think it'll run a nice race as well for Gary Portelli. It was a really nice win last time out with carrying 6.5 kilos to beat Up Trumps at Warwick Farm, and then start prior to that was second behind Victor Salute where it carried 6.5. So gets a nice weight relief. J Mac in the saddle. So I think it'll be in the finish. In for third. In for fourth, I do like number 10 She's All Mine for Daniel Miller. I think that this horse is coming across from New Zealand off a Group 3 race over there, which is the Inglis Cambridge Breeders race, and it was a pretty good run behind Speedy Meaty in a Group 3, so don't mind his chances in for a bit of odds. So pretty happy with those 4. They're the top 4 on the market, and I think rightfully so. Just recap the numbers in the fourth of the card. Number 3 Plague Stone on top. In for second, number 1 Zeus Style. In for third, number 4 Ronstar, and in for fourth, number 10 She's All Mine. Race number 5 on the card, 1200 metre fillies and mares race. Looking at the speed here, I think Callista and Test the World will be forward off barrier 2 and 4. Indecision, the New Zealand visitor will be forward, and as will Miss Q from the outside barrier. I think Callista is going to be the one to beat. I think it's got the right run of the race for the Snowden team. I thought that was a really good run behind Demerara last time out at the Gold Coast. And start prior to that was 1.8 lengths off White Moss, which is pretty good form to take into this race. I think it'll be running a nice race. In for second, I do like the New Zealand visitor Indecision. I think it'll get a nice run of the race too. Look, it was a bit disappointing behind Demerara, but I expected to bounce back Second up here, I think Tony Pike has really placed his horses nicely here in Queensland. He could get a good run and finish off nicely. In for third, I do like number 6, River Racer for Les Ross. I thought that was a really good win from the back of Doomben last time out. It's not quite going to have the speed to come on like it did that time out, so I'm interested to see its chances this time around. In for fourth, I do like number 8, Test the World, who's quite a consistent horse and will be up on speed. Has never won on this track and never placed, but I do think it'll run a good race and will back off that. We'll come back off that disappointing run last time out behind Demerara. So just to recap, I'm pretty keen, and this is one of my best on the card, with number 1, Callista on top. In for second, I'll do like number 3, Indecision. In for third, number 6, River Racer. And in for fourth, number 8, Test the World. Race number 6 on the card, 1110 metres, listed race. Look at the speed. I think Turbo and YPO off the inside barriers will be forward. In good time, Mr. Marble's off barrier 5 and 6 will be forward. And of course, Mr. Taylor will be quite prominent from that outside barrier. Be interested to see how far forward it decides to go. Look, I do like number 7, Isaurian on top. J Macker in the saddle. I thought resuming here, 3 from 3, fresh stats. You can't get much better than that. Has good soft track form. Last time out, won at the Sandown Hillside track of beating Invincible L. So I like its fresh stats. Been trying pretty well coming into this, so I like its chances on top. For me, at $2.70 for second, I do like the second in the market. Number 14, Meet Mr. Taylor. That first up run beating I've Got It Now was sensational. It was really, really impressive. And it's got great second up stats. It's got 2 wins from 2 second up. So I do like its chances. Has the wet track once again, which it enjoys. So I like its chances in for second. In for third, I do like number 9, YPO. So I like the top 3 in the market. YPO, I thought it was a little bit disappointing, but the 900 metres perhaps is a bit too sharp, and coming out to 1100 will be much better. Comes back to a track it likes. It's 6 starts this track for 3 wins. So I like its chances second up, number 9, YPO. In for fourth, I do like number 8, Keener Array. This horse, former Hayes Davinick horse, now with Toby Edmonds. I thought that was a pretty good run behind Mr. Marble, who's first up, and I think second up here will improve off that run. So just to recap the numbers, on race number 6, I like number 7, Isaurian on top. In for second, number 14, Meet Mr. Taylor. In for third, number 9, YPO. And in for fourth, number 5, Keener Array. Race number 7 on the card, 1350 metres, Group 3 race, the first of the group races of the day. Having a look, a lot of speed in this race. I'm a Ripper off barrier 3 will be forward. Ever Loyal, the New Zealand visitor, will be forward. I think Coldstone will be up there. Freddie Foxtrot off barrier 7 will be quite prominent. And then, interestingly, Broom Sarah, Addictive Nature, and Passive Time, 3 of the top horses in the market, all from that outside barrier, I suggest will all be trying to get forward. So I'd be interested to see where they land in the run. With all that speed in the race, I do like one at huge odds here. I think number 4, Violate, is huge overs for Brent Stanley, Luke Nolan in the saddle. Has never won at this track, but it's stepping back in class. But first time up, we've beat Streets of Avalon, who's absolutely flying his preparation in a Group 3 at Flemington. Then went and ran 4.3 lengths behind 50 Stars. Ran the Bendigo Gold Mile behind Harrapore, 4.8 lengths off there, and then it ran in the Doncaster Mile behind Brutal. So look, it's been racing some really good company. I think the step back in class, it might actually suit it. There's a lot of speed in this race to come off. So I think Luke Nolan, if he can get in a good spot, it actually could be well in the finish here and could knock all these over at massive $34 odds. I think it's a great chance. In for second, I do like number 11, Addictive Nature. I think Danny O'Brien has this horse well placed. I thought that run last time out behind Fast Set Tempest was a good one at Flemington. Third up here is going to race quite nicely. It doesn't mind the soft track either. It's had 2 placings on the going. So like its chances in for second. In for third, number 10, Chapter and Verse, off that inside barrier with all the speed in the race. I think it'll suit it quite nicely to come on from the back. It was a really good win last time out, winning by 3 lengths, and the second up stats are great. Soft track stats are good, so I expect it to be in the finish. Number 10, Chapter and Verse. In for third, I do like number 12, Passage of Time. I think it's been in good form for Joe Pride. That win last time out beating Piracy was a really good run, and prior to that was really unlucky behind Top Striker. So I like his chances to run a good race once again. Just has that sticky barrier out wide to overcome. So to recap the numbers, I do like number 4, Violate. It's a massive knockover chance at $34 odds. In for second, I do like number 11, Addictive Nature. In for third, number 10, Chapter and Verse. And in for fourth, I do like number 12, Passage of Time. Race number 8, here's the Doomben Cup, the Group 1 weight for age over 2,000 metres. Looking at the speed map, quite a bit of speed in the race. I think Fierce Impact will be quite prominent going forward. I think Tally and Archidemus will go forward at Barrow 14 and 15. I think 60s Groove will be up there too. So not a whole lot of speed. I mean, there's a few that will go forward, but not a ton. Look, for me, I think this is Young Star's race to win. I think this horse is going to prove itself now. I thought it's really been building up to this. Had a 1400 metre race, 800 metre race. Now it's ready to go. It's going to hit that 2,000 metres. It's the form horse that ran a 6th in the Melbourne Cup. Was a really good run. Prior to that, was only 1 length off Winks. I mean, you're looking at some sensational form there last preparation. Loves this track here at Doomben's. Had 3 runs on the track for 2 wins and a placing. So I like its chances, and it's really good at the distance range. It's only missed the placings once. It's from 6 starts at the distance. So not a whole lot of speed to come off the race, but I think it's going to be the best horse in the race and will win. So I've got it on top to beat number 6, Archidemus. I think this horse is okay to step up to this Group 1 class. Beat Tom Melbourne last time out on pace. It was a really good run. I think it can do it again. Doesn't mind the soft going and has had 1 win on this track before. So I do like its chances in for second. In for third, I do like number 17, 60s Groove. Will be quite prominent. Not sure if it will run at the moment. There's a bit of a query whether it'll run or not, but it was second up here. It was 3.8 lengths off Archidemus last time out. Second up stats are much better than first up. Doesn't mind the soft going, and of course stepping up 2,000 metres will suit. And in for fourth, I do like number 11, Shillelagh off the inside barrier. This is going to have the speed to come on, but looking at good weight for age, Group 1 form. Out of it, obviously it was in the Queen Elizabeth behind Winks. Prior to that was in the Doncaster Mile behind Brutal. So looking at some good form there. I think Shillelagh, if it turns up in its right frame of mind, it'll run a good race. Other horses I think have a good chance. I think number 1, Big Duke, is massively over the odds, stepping back from a Group 1. Before that was only 2.3 lengths off of Villiers, which is really good form. I think $34 odds are massively over the odds. So if you're playing a quaddie or first ball or anything like that, I definitely have Big Duke in there. And I do like number 3, Mr. Seawolf. Think it's got a good chance as well. I thought that was a good run behind Life Less Ornery. Life Less Ornery also has a good chance as well, in my opinion. And would be leaving number 12, Canedna, out either. I think it could bounce back to its Group 1 win in the Coolmore. That was an impressive win. So it looked really open race, but I do like number 13, Young Star, on top. In for second, I do like number 6, Archidemus. Think it can make that step up to Group 1 company. In for third, number 17, 60s Groove. In for fourth, number 11, Shillelagh. Final race, the card, 2,000 metres for 3-year-old fillies, Group 2 race. Looking at the speed map, there's quite a bit of speed. It's a Lily and Atana off the inside barriers will be forward. Re-edit, interestingly, has been scratched from an earlier race to run in this race, which I do find quite interesting. Siol Namara and on the white turf will be forward as well, I would suggest, from towards those outside barriers. Look, quite open race. I mean, I found it a little bit tough. I'm very intrigued with Re-edit coming to this race instead of racing in an earlier race. I thought that was an interesting move, and for me, I'm actually quite keen to have it on top at. Not have it on top, but have it in for second. I do like the favourite, number 1, Scarlet Dream. I thought his trial leading him was really good. Prior to that, was 1.8 lengths off Very Elegant. That's pretty good form if you ask me. So I've got it on top. Doesn't mind the soft track either. Interested that he just Mark Newman's taking it straight into this. In for second, I do like Re-edit with Glenn Boss in the saddle. Welcome back, Bossy. He's of course announced he's going to be returning to Australia. I thought that run behind Winning Ways wasn't fantastic, but prior to that was its run winning at Hawkesbury was really impressive. So I like how it's lightly raced by Chris Waller out of Camelot. And I'm really interested that it's decided to scratch itself from a race earlier in the card to bring itself to a Group 2. I think Waller must be confident this horse is flying and there's a good chance to win. In for third, I like number 2, Live For Us. I think this horse massively over the odds. Was 5.1 lengths off Very Elegant at Randwick, and then prior to that won and beat Amagiri, who's a very nice horse in itself. So I think Live For Us has got a great chance to be in the finish. And in for fourth, I do like number 3 winning ways. As I mentioned before, it beat Re-Edit last time out, beat word for word at Gold Coast in really good form, going for 4 in a row. Doesn't mind the wet going. It's 5 from 5 at this distance range, so you can't fault it. I think it's got a great chance to be in the finish once again. Interested in number 5, Pin Me Down from Michael Moronis, come across from New Zealand, has group form over there, including a 3-year-old win last time out. So interested to see its chances. I think it's got a good chance to be in the finish as well. And I like number 15 on the white turf. I think it'll be in the finish as well. So if you're playing quaddies, I'd go with those 6 as the ones. Thought it was a good run behind the Chosen one last time out for the Richard and Michael Freeman stable and J Max in the saddle. So recap the numbers. 9th on the card, I like the favourite, number 1, Scarlet Dream on top. In for 2nd, number 16, Re-Edit at some big odds. In for 3rd, number 2, Elitherus. And in for 4th, number 3, Winning Ways. Look, my best on the card, look, I haven't done that in the last 2 videos at Rose Hill and Morpheville. I apologise, I put it down in the description. So I'll just go over them now. Look, best on the card for me, I think number 1, Callista is the best on the card. I just can't see it not winning. I think it's a great chance to win. Bit of the value on the card, I do like. Sorry, just hang on. Yeah, look, my value selection comes a little bit earlier on in the piece. I didn't have too many at odds in this card, so I do like at a bit of value. Don't really have a lot of value, do I? So probably the $5.50 about Perudo might be some nice odds. So I also think you can go much worse with Young Star. I think backing it each way, you'll have a quite safe bet there. So I like its chances at the each way odds. So good luck today. There's my preview at Doomben now. All the previews are done and completed. Check them all out. Hopefully you can get them in before they start the racing again. Once again, apologies for the late uploads, but good luck today if you're on, and hopefully we can see you into some winners, and happy punting today.